sports that I'll be presenting in this segment are basketball and baseball. I'll be discussing the events of Jackie Robinson and how he impacted the U.S. society. I'll also briefly discuss the bidimensional concept in the college environment and how it impacted the basketball culture. For ethnic diversity to not be a factor, Los Angeles owner Branch Rickey had to have a conversation with Jackie Robinson. This was in August of 1945. Branch Rickey told Robinson, "I know you're a good ball player. What I don't know is whether you have the guts." Robinson quickly responded, "Mr. Rickey, are you looking for a Negro who's afraid to fight back?" Branch Rickey said, "Robinson, I'm looking for a ball player with guts enough not to fight back." The bidimensional concept applies to collegiate basketball by combining the African American culture with the basketball culture. You can see this in the following clip presented by ESPN.
The Fab Five: Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson. The most heralded recruiting class in college basketball history. 15 years ago, they changed the game.
They worried me a little bit. I wouldn't say I was scared, but they worried me a little bit because they're freshmen and they're real loosey-goosey and out there having a good time.
The most culturally influential college basketball team of its era, the Fab Five brought a new style to hoops, starting with their shorts.
Hip-hop is coming into its own thing. We all loved hip-hop. We just wanted to have our own style.
We wanted to be comfortable. We don't like the tight shorts.
They look like girl shorts. I don't want to look like John Stockton or a ballerina.
From a comfortable standpoint, the baggy shorts helped a lot.
If you go back and look when the Fab Five played, and you look at Arkansas Sharks, ours pale by comparison. But we got all the credit and blame for bringing in the long shorts.
The Fab Five also added black socks, black shoes, and bald heads, influencing future NBA stars from top to bottom.
They were definitely the first people that I've seen wear black socks in the basketball game. It was something that nobody did, but it looked pretty stylish.
That was the first time cats were wearing long shorts. Everybody could relate to that, you know what I'm saying? Every time I got a pair, I was trying to, if my shorts wasn't long, I was pulling them down to make them long, you know what I'm saying?
Their playing style was pure street ball, eye-popping alley-oops, rim-rocking slams, smack-talking payback. Old-school college hoops, it wasn't.
You look at it right now and it's not a big deal. You see an athlete with a tattoo, or you see an athlete talking trash on the court, or you see an athlete with a bald head. But back then it was a big deal. It's like, oh wow, look at these thugs, where did they come from?
The integrating in professional sports had a major impact on the athletic culture around America. Brown v. Board of Education declared segregation in public high schools unconstitutional in 1954, beginning the integration of high school athletics for the African American and white American cultures. Although the integrating of athletes was the right thing to do, it was not the easy thing to do. This transition brought about years of tension and discomfort and revealed the ethnocentrism that both cultures fell into. At this time, athletes around the states were organizing boycotts and walkouts, fans and officials were refraining from putting away longtime biases, and coaches were struggling to adjust to the drastic changing of the athletic culture.
Talk of racism around this squad. Have you experienced anything like that?
Don't do nothing but knock the chocolate out, folks. Is it true you're not going to trade films with Coach Boone? I'm not going to do anything to help that monkey.
The critical approach focuses on social structures that influence communication. The aspects of this approach allows us to understand the communication behaviors that occurred in the midst of this integration. Cultural differences played a major role in the struggle to join together. Each culture had their own set of cultural values and worldviews. When these two cultures were combined, intercultural conflict occurred due to the differences in value orientations. Individuals communicate differently according to context. The integration of the white American and African American cultures created political contexts in which the forces that attempted to change the existing social structures influenced the way the athletes communicated. These players were put into an unfamiliar social context they had never experienced before. Therefore, their communication was provoked by tension and confusion. Culture shock frequently occurs because of the challenges faced in new cultural contexts. Athletes experienced disorientation and in turn attempted to maintain separation in order to minimize uncertainty. In order to surpass the difficulties presented by integration, athletes were pushed to adapt to the new environment.
In using the interpretive paradigm to analyze sports, we observe the history of segregation stretching into boxing, as ethnocentrism seemed to play a large role. Fighters were often separated among their ethnicities. But according to Jack Newfield, a boxing historian, boxing was the first sport to allow a degree of equality. George Dixon became a championship contender 50 years before Jackie Robinson played for the Dodgers. But even though he was a champion, he was instantly reminded about his race due to prejudiced fans who would club his calves and his legs as he fought. However, non-Anglo fighters began to flourish and prove themselves in the ring, eventually earning their respect. Fighters such as Jack Johnson, the son of a slave, began taking fights against white fighters due to better pay. He knocked out Tommy Burns and became the first black man to earn the belt. As boxing progressed, new ethnicities began to emerge in the sport, such as Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, and Canelo Alvarez. Now, the talent of these fighters is no longer questioned, and all ethnicities are respected within the squared circle. The following interview helps describe the perception of inside from the boxer's eyes of a non-Anglo trainer and boxing coach. He describes the progress that the sport has made in regards of minorities, and how he now believes that there is no longer an obstacle from fighting when it comes to race.
First off, how long have you been involved in the boxing scene in San Antonio?
Well, I've been boxing over 20 years, but really in the scene, back in the scene, probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Have you ever faced any obstacles related to you being Hispanic, Latino?
No, never.
Never?
Never. To the fact that, you know, times have changed. It's not like the way it used to be. It's not the civil rights era. You know, and boxing is mainly, I'm not going to say predominantly dominated sport by Hispanics, but this side of Texas is mainly a lot of Hispanics, so we really don't have to deal with stuff like that. It's pretty open, whether you be black, white, Hispanic. It's never really been a problem. I've never faced any issues due to the part of race, and then being from San Antonio, Texas, is a predominantly Hispanic city, so we really don't have to deal with stuff like that. And I think probably in the early 60s, 50s, it might have been a lot harder. When I was 2013, a lot of people involved mentally, so you see a lot of races now get along more than usual. It's not like back in the day, blacks, whites all get along. As long as you can fight, you have talent, you have work ethic, you can find yourself in the door with boxing.
Do you associate with any individuals from other races or cultures, like black fighters, trainers?
Oh yeah. That's one thing nowadays, especially in sports, you know what I mean? You have to get along with different races. You're not never going to make it in life, especially in sports. If you don't get along with other races, you have to learn how to socialize, network, you know, affiliate yourself with people of different races and ethnicities, whether it be black, white, you know, whether they be fighters, promoters, fans, you know what I mean? There's good athletes in every sport, and there's good athletes in every color, you know. Like me, I've trained black guys, I've worked with white guys, and it doesn't matter, you know, as long as the guy has heart, has work ethic, you know, he's not lazy, you know, you see that he wants it, but sometimes, you know, I mean, hard work will be talent any day, and it doesn't matter, so as long as you just want to do it.
Do you feel that boxing has been affected by discrimination in the same aspect that other sports such as baseball or basketball have?
No, it's probably, like I said, it's probably the one sport that has the most ethnicity, probably next to baseball, you know. Nah, not no more. I mean, really back in the day, you know, in the 50s and the 60s, and maybe even the 70s, maybe part of the 80s, for the sport to have different types of people, different types of background, you know. It's good for the sport, you know. It doesn't matter what you are. The more races is always better for